Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mistletoe Secret. I am the candy cane crumbs on the floor, Trey Plotnicki.
And I am that one mouse still stirring on Christmas Eve, munching up those candy cane crumbs. Yum, yum, yum. Daniel Kunkel.
And we are going to be unpacking and unwrapping two fabulous movies and how they fit into the Hallmark cinematic universe. The first being Farewell, Mr. Kringle.
A heartbreaking story of a man who lost his wife and slowly descended into insanity.
True. And the second being The Santa Incident.
The best movie we've watched so far, and a complex crime thriller on par with anything that the greats can put out.
I swear to God, I was watching this with Peyton, and I was like, she said, this looks like an episode of Psych. Like, yes. It feels like we're watching an episode of Monk or Psych right now.
It's a crime thriller, as I said. It goes in a completely different direction than the other movies, and it's really exciting to see something so different enter the HCU this early.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, stay tuned, and we'll be talking about that soon.
So, Farewell, Mr. Kringle. This one throws you for a couple loops, I think. This is a strange little movie. So this movie opens up with Anna, our wonderful protagonist. She is, if we have ever met one so far, not a Christmas person. We've met some stinkers. We've met some sticks in the mud. Mm-hmm. We have never met someone who I think despises Christmas, not in a vengeful or a spiteful way, just in such a way that she doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, she just doesn't care for it.
She just does. It's not for her. She works for the family magazine Family Now.
as opposed to Family Later.
Yeah, she works for their blog division.
Uh-huh.
And it has been, we know going into the movie that it has been 3 years since she has dated. We do not know why at the beginning of the movie. But she gets assigned by her boss to go and write a wonderful, heartfelt story about the holidays to the town of... Trey, would you like to say the name of this magical town she gets sent to?
The town's name is Mistletoe.
It's the town of Mistletoe in Northern California.
And I would like to add that the town wasn't initially named Mistletoe.
Yes.
It was a congressional decision, a conscious congressional decision to change the town name from Somerville to Mistletoe.
Somerville, a much more appropriate name for a small town in Northern California. Mistletoe, a bafflingly confusing name for the town. You might be asking listeners why they changed the name. Is there some sort of tax reason? Was there perhaps an incentive from some large corporation that if you name it this way, you'll get free Wi-Fi for the rest of your time? Something like that? No, they changed it because of one man, the man who we are here to really investigate and talk about in this film and also in this podcast series, a man named John Wilson, but he legally changed his name to Kris Kringle. And this man is a recluse. He does not come out of his home very often when it is not the holiday season. And when he does emerge from his house, as his new legal name may imply, he is dressed to the nines as Mr. Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more baffling storylines that we've seen, and not necessarily storylines, but also just like plot points. I think once again, I'm not too fond of when Santa says, "Come here and sit on my lap."
Yeah. And
I think both of the romantic leads, who is Mark and Anna, they both say that I have sat on Santa's lap.
They both say it. Santa encourages several children to sit on his lap.
Yeah,
it's very disturbing.
It's especially more disturbing when he's willfully portraying Santa in a realistic way, but also but in a delusional way. It's weird. It's definitely weird.
Yeah, so he's been playing Santa for 50 years since the unfortunate tragic death of his wife on Christmas Eve. And there is definitely a mystery, I think, going into the beginning for the first 25 minutes of the movie about if he is actually Santa Claus or if he is a man just pretending to be Santa Claus. She quickly uncovers the truth about Mr. Wilson, legally Mr. Kringle, about his life, about what happened to him. We learn that this man, he's a helper, frankly.
Yeah.
In a way that on a very large scale way. I think we've seen people, either the real Santa or people pretending to be Santa, helping out in very small ways. This man helps the whole community. Everyone in this town has a story about being helped by this man, either emotionally or physically in some way. He helped them, build a fence one time or something. This man's a helper.
And I would like to say that they honored his being, his 50 years of service to this community by changing the name of the town to the creep plant, the Mistletoe.
They changed it in 1978. So you're right. They didn't even change it though after all these years of service. So if she died 50 years ago, this movie came out in 2010. That would be 1970. So after about 8 years, give or take, this town went, this guy's so helpful, and we're all going to play into his delusion by renaming it Mistletoe.
Which I wouldn't have done that.
To your point about confusing plot points, I think a confusing message of this movie is whether or not people who are clearly processing grief in maybe not the most helpful way, whether that's going to a counselor or a therapist of some kind, being addressed by proper medical staff, because this man is clearly in pain. He has processed his grief, maybe not in the most constructive way to himself, clearly to his community, but maybe not to himself.
Right. And I feel like I had to process grief when they literally showed his wife dying on our televisions.
Yeah.
They showed the car crash. They showed the car crash. She crashed into a tree.
Yes, his wife was a nurse. She was coming home late because we learned that she had to stay until everyone was asleep or was discharged for the night, and she was driving home Christmas Eve, and unfortunately did crash into a tree and die at the scene. I think we have to assume, because we see most of it in pretty graphic detail.
Yeah, it's bad. It's weird.
Yes, yeah. So Anna arrives at this town and is like, "So you all are playing into his delusions," and the great quote of this movie. There are several great quotes of this movie. I shouldn't say that, but one of the waitress that she talks to at the cafe about this man kind of points out some quirks that other people have. She's like, it's not a delusion. It's a quirk he has. Just like this person, this person wears red socks only, and this person does this. And her last example is a man in town climbs on the roof in his underwear and talks to the moon. That's not a quirk. That's likely a serious problem.
Yeah, and then Anna goes, "Yeah, I get it. Those are quirks, though.
Those are not quirks.
This is his livelihood.
Those are not quirks. Those are problems."
Yeah, it's super weird.
There's also the quote of, "It's not a delusion to him," which is the definition of having a delusion.
That's precisely what a delusion is. Her specific problem with Santa, I think, is one grounded in reality, and it's like, from an outsider's perspective, it's very clear that the town of Mistletoe has never experienced reality.
No,
ever really. But past the Santa stuff, it's a Hallmark movie. There's a meet cute. We have reached our is this our third meet cute?
Third meet cute. I actually have a question for you about this meet cute, but I want you to describe it first.
Okay, absolutely.
I'll seek your advice on this.
I'm the meet cute expert.
You are, absolutely.
Yeah. Anna stays at this place called the Holly Inn while she is in Mistletoe. And when she stays there on the first night, her radiator is not only not working, but also making noises like it is working. And it is extremely loud. So she calls the front desk and says, "Hey, can you fix my radiator? It's super loud. I can't get enough sleep and I'm freezing." And then the person goes, "Sure, we'll fix it in the morning." And then she goes, "The morning?" And then hangs up. And smash cut to the next morning. A man is in her room fixing the radiator. And I think here's what the director probably said when when he was finding someone who could fix this radiator. He probably said, who is the hottest guy that we can find that could believably fix a radiator? And I think they found him this time.
He nails it.
Yeah, he fixes that radiator, and he is pretty damn hot, I will say.
He's a great looking guy. I think he's so far been maybe my favorite male protagonist of these movies. My favorite male love interest of these movies.
Yeah, he definitely did a good job.
Yeah.
Dare I say, is he a 9.5 though?
Oh, is he a 9.5? Is he a 9.5? Yes, Anna describes him on the phone to her very overly nosy boss as a 9.5.
Yeah, then she says, I've never even seen a 9.5
which is ridiculous. Yes, you have.
Because she lives in New York, or some city. She lives in Blanket City.
It feels like New York.
Yeah. Or probably LA, since they're in California.
I was going to say, maybe a West Coast city.
Yeah.
But she... I mean, you wouldn't see a 9.5 in de Blasio's New York.
No, not de Blasio's, no.
But I would put him at an 8, maybe an 8.5. I think he's a very handsome man. I think his personality puts him over the top, definitely. But we can go into that in a moment. My question about this meet cute, you forgot the important detail of she is in the shower.
Oh yeah, this
man does knock on the door. No one answers. She doesn't answer because she can't hear him in the shower. So he walks in and begins fixing the radiator. She becomes distraught, obviously, when she emerges from the shower in just a towel. And there's this stranger in her room fixing her radiator. She forces him to exit very quickly, which he does.
Yeah.
Very respectfully, very apologetic. It is not, I think, sexually devious in any way or malicious on his part, which it would have been very easy to try and do as a joke, and they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
No, there was humility shown.
Absolutely. One of your most important rules about your meet cute that we set so long ago was there needs to be a belligerent other person. So my question is, can one of the people involved in the meet cute be a belligerent person, or do we maybe need to slash that rule?
No, there's always a belligerent bystander. And
she is not the bystander. She is the active participant.
No, listen here. There is a belligerent bystander, okay? Because the Anna that met cute was not the same Anna that came out of the shower. Anna that came out of the shower was the belligerent bystander, and Anna that came back in for the second radiator fix is the official meet cute.
Okay.
The meet cute exists in two parts. So the second part of it is she comes back from like a long day. I think she went to the coffee shop to write her blog and complain about Christmas. And then she comes back and Mark is fixing the radiator finally. And that's like the official meet cute. And it's like, can I buy you a cup of coffee? And then he buys her a cup of coffee, and then he touches the small of her back, which is super weird.
Which is weird. I mean? That is I think we see that in movies a lot, where like
the subtle touch of the small of the back and the
subtle touching the small of the back, which to me that's a very intimate thing to do. Or like if you're trying to move someone, obviously that's a different situation. But in terms of like a gentle
like
touch
a guide,
on the back,
like a guiding.
That feels
that's weird.
That doesn't feel like a first date thing. Okay, so that's good. I will trust you. You've been a practicing meet cuteologist for years.
Meet cuteology.
So I will defer to your judgment on this. So yes, we continue through her adventure in this town. She eventually goes on a date with this man. After he asks her out in the worst way possible, I think we both agreed on this. They share a kiss at a Christmas party.
Bad.
And then she's at the cafe. She's in a good mood. The waitress comes over and is like, "Everyone knows y'all macked out."
And then the entire diner says, "Yep, we do."
Everyone she's like, Anna's like, "Are you serious? Like, does everyone know that? That's like, I am still here on a job. That's like unprofessional of me." And everyone in the diner, like a flash mob, turns and looks at her and is like, "Yep."
Yeah, that was funny.
So and then Mark appears in the window, blows the fog. He doesn't need to. There's plenty of fog. It's a chilly morning. And writes like, "Dinner tonight?" ? And everyone's like, "Yeah."
And they applaud. They applaud. Oh my gosh, that was
gross. It's gross. So eventually, that date ends up being at Mr. Santa Claus's house, at Mr. Kringle's house, which is very rare. He does not invite people into his house that often.
Okay, so that was weird, right?
Yes.
Why? Like,
yes.
Why? Like, okay, so first step, why? Like, you know? Like, did we get an explanation? Okay,
there was no explanation given of that.
Welcome to Trey asks, did he miss something? Did I miss something? Because I felt like I zoned out, right? And then I felt like I zoned out and looked away for a moment, and I looked back, and I was like, is the date at his house? Did I miss something where...
No, I think Mark did give a reason. I think he was just like, oh, he wants to cook us dinner. I think we can infer it was maybe on Mark's part. I think he could sense she was a little trepid about it, a little cautious about it.
Okay.
And so he wanted to make her feel safe, didn't want to make it some big thing. But then you would go to a restaurant with other people. You wouldn't go to another man's house.
So here's my next question.
That's weird.
Are you saying this because it was in the script and the dialogue, or are you saying this based out of just inference?
That's fair. No, I was inferring. So we have no idea why. We get into Santa's house. She's been interviewing him throughout the movie. We should mention, we're just going to hit the highlights real quick. Though, so she's been interviewing him throughout the movie. He's very assured in his delusion.
Yeah.
And so they go to Santa's house. The first thing we see, that establishing shot, is a wonderful train set.
Oh, there's always a train set. We've talked about this before, right?
The train set.
You ask for a train set. If you're in a Hallmark Christmas movie, your dream gift, number 1 on the list, is a brand new train set. And Santa always delivers.
New train set. So yes, they go there. They go to this dinner. Mr. Kringle says something to her that clearly upsets her. So she runs off into the night, needing air. She needs air a lot in this movie. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she needs to go outside
She needs to go out for air a lot.
Well, so she went out for air that time because she remembered about her dead husband, right?
Yes, her dead husband is why she has not dated. It's why she's very nervous about dating Mark. So they blow up. We have our big end of Act 2 fight. She leaves. She leaves, and I think part of Christmas leaves with her in this town of Mistletoe. Mistletoe, she learns that this is going to be... No, sorry, she learns that later on. I'm sorry, I'm getting my timelines confused. Yeah. But she leaves, and it's not as happy as it once was. The children don't go to Mr. Kringle that often anymore. And when they do, he feels like they're kind of just doing it because they feel sorry for him. Which is why this entire town exists.
Because they feel sorry for this man.
Because they feel sorry for this man.
Yeah.
So she goes back to the big city. She talks to her boss, who, again, way too nosy for a boss, is like, oh, is it about the man? She's a very archetypal, sassy black woman boss.
Yeah.
Not great.
No. I will say the mayor is also black.
The mayor that's true. Very true.
And also, I would like to mention, because I had this, at the very beginning of the movie, the mayor and his wife ran against each other.
Yes.
For the mayoral race. And I can't remember the reason why he won and she didn't. What did it...
It was something about, like, her...
Baking donuts?
Yeah, she was confused because she baked donuts and she lost by, like, 8 votes. This town's crazy. I think this town is secretly unincorporated territory, and they're just pretending like they're a town. So Anna goes back to the town to find that Chris has disappeared. Mm-hmm. Nobody can find him. We the audience know, we get shown that it is because he is slowly coming out of his delusion, thankfully, and slowly acknowledging the loss of his wife on this 50th anniversary of her passing. So he goes to the graveyard to see her, to visit her grave. We have here my favorite quote of the movie. This is a standout quote so far. So the mayor gathers the main characters that we've met so far in the town square to find Chris. He's like, all right, first one to find him gets lunch on the taxpayers and the cafe, implying he will pay for it. And we have a bit of added dialogue here, I assume, where they're like scamper away, and one person yells out, "It's a good thing I don't pay taxes," and everyone laughs. But it's not a joke, it's a fact, because they're an unincorporated territory and paying taxes would do nothing for this town.
No, Mistletoe is Vegas. It's Vegas too.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's...
So they do, so they find Santa at the graveyard. He is mourning, clearly. He's not in his Santa suit. Still very nicely dressed. I wrote down this was undoubtedly the best dressed Santa we've seen so far.
Yeah, no, I would say the Santas that we're talking about in these two movies are very good.
I loved both of these Santas.
Yeah.
There was a roughness to them. There was a realness to them.
Yeah, no, a very rugged realism vibe.
It's because this Santa is not actually the real Santa. Yeah, we'll go into our theories in just a moment, but we can agree that this is not Santa.
No.
So yes, eventually she brings him back to the town. All of the citizens celebrate him. We have a flash into the future to Anna and Mark's wedding because she decides to give love a chance.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the wedding.
No, neither did I. And then Chris Kringle is the one who gives her away at the wedding.
That's wild. That's
fly as hell.
No, I will say that is super crazy. Like there's some crazy stuff that happens, but definitely the craziest thing that happens in this movie is that none of her immediate family is there for her to get married.
Well, we haven't met them. I think it would be strange for us to meet them now.
Well, I would at least expect her dad to walk her down the aisle and not weird-ass Santa Claus.
I think her father's dead. And then that is how the movie ends. This is a very strange movie about kind of learning to move on from things while not forgetting things, but learning how to accept loss into your life. And that was not a message I expect to receive in my Hallmark movie this week.
Yeah. I do like the romantic subplot coupled with the Santa romantic subplot coupled with shared trauma.
Yeah.
That was definitely something that was done well in this one.
Yeah. There was a realness to this movie. There was a groundedness to this movie. Not a November Christmas level of grounded where it's so boring.
Right.
There was just enough magical realism in this one, I think, to really make it a fun little... This is another one of those put it on, curl up next to the fire while you're actually playing something on your phone. You know? Great one just to have on in the background, I think.
Yeah.
On to our connections for this movie.
Connections overall.
Yeah. I had two.
Okay.
I think you wonderfully last week explained this theory that we would be seeing these body snatcher Santas.
Okay.
I think maybe we could possibly infer a bit that this man is perhaps the victim of a Santa body snatching.
I think, yeah. So this is. I also had a theory similar to this, where he escaped. Like he got out.
Yeah.
Because we we see him turn the kids into shaming this woman.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where Anna is like, so you've been playing Santa for 50 years. And then Chris is like, playing? Kids, boo this woman. And then they start booing her. It's something
We have a non-believer. This could turn into Silent Hill territory very quickly of like a cult town.
But here's what we know. Okay.
Yeah.
We know that Santa is trying to ruin things in a way. And not necessarily make everyone's lives worse.
No.
But he's trying to preserve his image, and he's trying to make sure that he has a monopoly on the Christmas market. Because there are things that try to steal his thunder, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's a possibility that real Santa, big man, CE Santa, corporate executive Santa.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Or chief executive Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. There's a possibility that he big guy body snatched this guy in order to ruin the town of Mistletoe in fear of Mistletoe kind of collapsing. Or Mistletoe kind of tarnishing his image.
So I do think there is a reason Mistletoe is in California. Is it possible that maybe Mistletoe, before it became Mistletoe, maybe that was primed to become a very Silicon Valley-esque place?
We don't know much about what Mistletoe was in 1960.
We do know what it is, though, which is a place very much stuck in the past.
Yeah.
For better and for worse. It is a very traditional style village in that way.
Yeah, and it does remind me of those towns where it's like, yeah, we have a diner and a grocery store. Like,
yeah,
go away.
It feels very much like the place that's cute to outsiders, but people who actually live there are like, no, it's boring. Like, there's nothing interesting here.
Absolutely.
I think there's a possibility that maybe this guy is possibly a failed Santa snatcher. Where he was switched, didn't complete his purpose, and his wife died because of it. And he has spent the last 50 years trying to repair himself.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I would say possible, but I think it's true.
Yeah. So we also, to be a bit more grounded, I think I have a much more concrete connection here. Mark, our lovely Mark, we learn, moved back. So this Mistletoe is his hometown, but he moved away to become a divorce lawyer. He became a very successful divorce lawyer. And we also learned the story of why he stopped being a divorce lawyer and moving back to Mistletoe. So he was going through a very rough divorce, and a little girl came up to him, a very quiet little girl, came up to him and said, "Why are you tearing my family apart?" And he couldn't answer her. He dropped everything. He was disbarred. He was fined heavily because he left his court practice. I think, possibly, that little girl is the little girl from the Santa suit. Because he mentioned specifically she was a very quiet little girl, and we do not see the little girl in the Santa suit. We do not see her dad.
Wait. Am I already getting these lost in my brain canals?
The Santa suit was the other Body Snatcher film, so I feel like that's if we can agree on this connection, I think that's another strong reasoning for this guy's another victim of the Body Snatcher Santa.
Yeah, yes, okay.
Yeah.
I remember.
The little girl.
Yeah, it literally escaped me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is, yes. You think that's the one where the mom works at what's that place?
She works at Hunter Toys.
She works at Hunter Toys. Yeah.
I hate that I know this information so readily. Yes, yeah. I think that little girl. Because that movie Hunter Toys, I believe, is in New York.
Hunter Toys is based out of New York. That's correct.
So I think they were in Cali. I think it didn't go so well. There was a messy divorce.
So they
Mom
literally
picks up and leaves.
Goes to
New York. Yep.
That's interesting. Mayor Bloomberg's New York.
Goes to Bloomberg's New York, which has got to show you how rough things were for her.
Right. Honestly,
Bloomberg's New York
for sanctuary. Bloomberg's New York, yeah.
Did you have any connections in this film?
Connections. I would like to ask you, do we know how Anna's boyfriend or husband died? Was it a car accident?
It might have been a car accident. Yeah,
it's always a car. So
it was a car accident.
They really,
because I remember it being weird that both of them lost their loved ones in a car accident.
Gotcha. Okay, is it possible that car accident was the very same car accident where a loved one was lost in oh god, I can't remember what movie it was.
In Call Me Mrs. Miracle?
In Call Me Mrs. Miracle, that's correct.
I love where your brain is at. That was where I went first, but we know that she lost her boyfriend 3 years ago?
In 2007.
In 2007, and it's been like 20 years in Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
Damn it. But, wait.
We can...
Wasn't that the one where we thought the timelines were shifty?
Was that the one? We did, but...
Or was that the Santa suit? No. That was November Christmas. Christmas.
No. It was November Christmas, but it was November Christmas about Call Me Mrs. Miracle.
Yes.
If I remember properly.
Yeah.
This is so listeners, we're going to go back at the end of 2010 and do a big timeline wrap up. We'll iron that out by then. I think.
Because that's definitely something that we need to look into. And it's
we gotta iron out this timeline before we go into 2011.
Yeah, this is also there was a class that I took when I was getting my my BM in Mistletoe Magic.
Mm-hmm. Bachelors of Magic.
Yeah, Bachelors of Magic. Obviously, yeah. I felt like that went with.
I just wanted to clarify for the audience.
Yeah. When I was getting my BM in Mistletoe Magic, I was studying the effects of time on these movies, and so we'll definitely be doing a thorough cleansing and deep dive of the timeline of this first season or phase, if you will.
Yeah, I think for now though that divorce lawyer one is solid. I think.
Yeah. I like
Let's
that.
reflect more on whether this was a body snatcher incident, because I don't want to just start throwing. It's like the dream thing. I don't think we should throw that around lightly.
Yeah. I think
we got to use that sparingly.
Yeah. So these are, once again, what we talk about here. They're theories. These are theories. Mm-hmm. We won't have it concrete until the end of this season.
Yeah. So are you good to move on to the Santa incident?
I can't wait.
Do you want to talk about the Santa incident first?
I guess I can start. So first off, firstly, this is the best movie that I've seen recently, and this is because I've only been watching Hallmark movies. This movie is actually good. It's quality. Like, I would watch this around Christmas time.
Yeah. This is joining my rotation, definitely.
So this movie starts off in a action sequence in the air. We can only assume, because it's called the Santa incident, that we're looking from the vantage point of Santa. But that's not the case. We're looking from the vantage point of the United States Air Force. Or Special Ops something. Literally, the United States government has tracked down Santa's sleigh as a UFO and shot it down with a missile. The United States government shoots down Santa's sleigh, and Santa falls so fast to the ground that he catches on fire. And this is on film. He catches on fire, and then he lands. Not gracefully, might I add.
No, he crash lands.
Yeah, crash lands. So these two kids, right?
Yeah.
Are walking along this train yard for whatever reason. I think they're like walking home from school.
Well, sorry. One point. So he shoots Santa out of the air.
Yeah.
He gets on the radio to command, and command is like, "This is top secret."
Yeah.
Because they think it's a UFO.
I
just wanted to put that out there. That becomes very important.
Yeah. So they think it's a UFO. Now, smash cut, these two kids, first smash cut to the title screen, which was looked like it was made in Windows Movie Maker. The Santa Incident.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Smash cut, two kids walking home from school, probably. They're going to school. Oh, they're going to. It's the morning.
Because they're late.
Gotcha. So
because they're cutting through the dockyards.
Yeah, we get these two characters. One is named Daniel. The other is named Sophia. Mm-hmm. And Daniel is a stinker.
Daniel is a stinker.
Daniel is a little stinker.
You texted me, we have a DEFCON 3 stinker.
Yeah, it's a DEFCON. Yeah, I might upgrade that to a DEFCON 4. What's the highest DEFCON? 5? Is it what? Does it go forwards or backwards?
DEFCON 1 is the worst.
Okay, so let's upgrade that to a DEFCON 2. It's a DEFCON... I said 3 because I wasn't sure, and I was like making sure I wanted to smack dab in the middle.
Good call, yeah.
Yeah. So I might upgrade that to a DEFCON 2 stinker, because he's quite the stinker. I don't think we've met the quintessential stinker yet, but Daniel is close.
He's super close.
Yeah.
He's on the 1, 2, 3 winners podium. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's somewhere on there.
Yeah. He's definitely on our phase 1 stinker podium.
Yep.
So they're walking. So Daniel and Sophia are the kids. They're brother and sister. And they come across this man who's on the ground, who is probably Santa, but they don't know that yet. He's on the train tracks. They're trying to pull him off train tracks because a train is coming.
Yeah.
And they do it in time, thankfully, which is really great.
It's a loading crane. They're on the dockyards, and they're not supposed to be at the dockyards.
Yes. And it's like a freight thing. It's like a trolley type deal that might have smashed him, right?
It's like a big loading elevator for loading crane for lifting up the containers.
So they pull him off. They get him to the hospital because thankfully their mom is a nurse, and she takes him for vitals or what nurse things.
He's in a coma. Yeah.
And then we get a soft meet cute.
Mm-hmm. This is a meet cute with some history.
I'd love to tell you what a soft meet cute is.
Oh, lay it on me.
A soft meet cute is when the two characters already know each other and their meet cute has in theory already happened. So, like you said, it's a meet cute with history.
Okay, right? Definitely. This fits the bill perfectly.
So the soft meet cute that we have going here is the nurse and Hank, Sheriff Hank, baby.
So yeah, we meet the sheriff. We meet Santa. The first thing Santa says when he wakes up is mistletoe.
Is mistletoe. Which if you. And if I were Santa and I were in a coma and I were to wake up, I would not say mistletoe.
You would say reindeer. You would say holly. You would say jolly. You would say Christmas. You would say anything else. You wouldn't say mistletoe.
No,
that's not Santa's thing.
I don't think I would even say reindeer. I think I would say, where the hell am I? Because even though I'm Santa, I still have a sense of, self.
I think if I was still trapped, if I woke up as though I had just been knocked unconscious after being shot with a missile, it would be like, God, evasive action, move. Like, it would be, I would still be in that place, Yeah. So we are in the lovely town of Rockwater Bay, California. I paused the movie to read that off the police sign. So yes, we have my least favorite quote of a Hallmark movie so far, maybe, where the nurse encourages the sheriff to have some words with her kids about cutting through the dockyards. And he's like, well, I think you already scolded them enough. And she's like, yes, but it'll mean more coming from a big man with a badge and a gun. And I didn't like that quote. That made me uncomfortable.
I feel like the people who write these movies are all cops. And like top to bottom, it's just like police unions are crowdfunding these Hallmark movies.
So yes, we then meet our antagonist for this film. Maybe my two favorite characters.
Those two were the best in the movie.
Absolutely.
It's Erickson and Cunningham. Agent Erickson and Agent Cunningham.
Yep, special agents for the Department of Homeland Security Asymmetric Threat Division. And these guys, no question, we're setting up some antagonists going forward.
Yeah. I think we need to keep track of the Asymmetric Threat Division.
Yeah, the ATD.
In the future films here, because I feel like they're going to play a big role in thwarting Santa.
Yeah. So these guys are, they work essentially for the X-Files division from the TV show The X-Files. They are hunting Santa because they believe he is either an alien or a human operative for the aliens.
Yes.
And this movie, I think, whoever the scriptwriter was, made some really fun leaps about how closely, actually, the reality of Santa Claus is with the reality of extraterrestrials.
Yeah, and I also particularly enjoy the logistics that the writer mapped out.
Yeah.
In like the, you know what I'm saying? Like the grenades and stuff, and like just like tech. Like Santa has tech.
There's some cool stuff we get into with this Santa. Santa has says the line, "I never intentionally lie," which, language warning, is some fucking bullshit from Santa Claus. Because we know he lies all the time. That's his main constantly. So yes,
his thing is he lies.
The DHS agents come in. They are building a case against Santa Claus. These guys have photographic evidence of Santa all across the world throughout the Cold War and the post 9/11 world. both allies and foreign interests abroad. We see him buying aluminum from the leaders of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan, I don't know if you're up to date on reading your U.S. State Department or UN watchdog group reports, not the best country in the world.
No.
So we got Santa at the bare minimum stealing across international borders tons of raw materials, or possibly buying from maybe not the best sources to make his toys.
Yeah. And the way we find out Santa makes his toys in this movie is interesting.
Very, very interesting.
It makes me think that he just kind of packs raw material when he goes flying and just makes stuff on the fly. There
is some alchemy going on with this.
So
Santa
do you want to explain how visually we see Santa making
Absolutely,
stuff?
Yeah. So yeah, Santa doesn't want to get behind on the quota because this is 5 days before Christmas. He gets shot out of the air. Why is he flying 5 days before Christmas? Nigel didn't send him out that early.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So yeah, why is he flying? I think he's flying to get raw materials. I think we can pretty astutely guess that. But Santa, he gets shot out of the sky. He is invited to stay at the little kid's mother's house while he can get back on his feet, and also so he can hide from the Department of Homeland Security again. So he goes around town doing these odd jobs to get material so he cannot get behind on his quota. And the way he does it, we can add 2 new superpowers to Santa's list. 3. Super speed, transmutation, and precognition. He knows what a phone call is going to be about before the phone call is made. The way he makes the toys is he gathers raw materials, random junk that people's going to throw out, old utensils, old kitchen supplies, wood, like maybe 20 feet of fishing twine, and he moves at hypersonic speeds, almost as fast as the speed of light. And what was raw materials becomes toys. We got trains, we got dolls, we got stuffed bears, we got everything. So there's a lot of lore to unpack here, because we also learn if this is the real Santa, and we can discuss that in a moment. Mm-hmm. He said the very interesting line, and I wonder if you clocked this. So they ask him, why can't you just teleport to the North Pole? And he says, I'm only provided enough magic to make the toys and to make the sleigh fly. Who is providing Santa with this magic?
Does it operate like a fuel?
Oh, I like that.
Does it operate like there is an entire subset of kind of like the oil industry? Is there a magic industry?
Is there a magic industry? Is this kind of like Elf, where people have to believe in him?
Yeah.
But he says provided, which means someone is giving it to him.
I think this is what is going on here is far more insidious than what meets the eye.
Yeah, you talk about laying the groundwork for future films. I'm ready for this to go cosmic. I need to know who is providing Santa with this magic.
And it's phase 1. And I'll tell you what,
baby.
The answer is gonna surprise you.
I am so ready to know. So yeah, Santa goes around town. He builds the toys. Eventually, he is of course caught by the Department of Homeland Security. These Department of Homeland Security agents are
they're
not.
They're doofuses.
They're silly boys. They're very silly boys. Yeah. They have some fun together. Erickson is the very grizzled old agent. We find out that he has a very personal grudge against Santa for supposedly almost killing him and his squad in a town in Germany, which I looked into this town in Germany. This is not some random town in Germany that they pulled out. There's actually a very famous, world famous Christmas festival that happens there every year. In the town
that's kind of nice.
In the town of Lichtig or Leichstag. I found I found a link for it. It's super fun. It looks really nice.
That gives cause. Cause for a Santa kerfuffle to happen there.
Yeah. So there's a very personal reason for this. So eventually Santa is of course caught by these guys. So he is arrested. He's held at gunpoint. The children are held at gunpoint to make Santa surrender.
Yeah.
I wrote down the charges that they list off against Santa for his arrest. I'd like to know your rating in order of most.
What's the most egregious?
Yeah, what's the worst one? I think we both know what the worst one is.
Yeah.
His charges in order as they are read out: suspicion of customs violations.
Okay.
Which I read a little bit about. Surprisingly big deal, actually.
Yeah, that's an immigration problem. Yeah. That's like smuggling really bad. Like stuff.
Yeah, like not the good stuff. Yeah. Transporting stolen goods.
Okay.
Larceny.
Which is not that's what they got OJ on.
Yeah, that's what they got. Larceny.
What's larceny?
Larceny. I will read you the legal definition of larceny.
Yeah, because I hear larson and it means nothing to me. It sounds like arson, so I imagine it has something to do with fire, but it definitely has nothing to do with fire.
It does not. No, I will read you the Wikipedia definition, so I don't get this wrong. Larceny is a crime involving the unlawful taking or theft of the personal property of another person or business.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I suspect it is likely a business thing that they are bringing up.
Okay. So let's go back to the top.
Because his other crime is grand theft.
Yeah.
And then his last crime, listed out by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, an agency that has close to unlimited power, operating both within the United States border and outside, is conspiracy to commit acts of terror. That one feels like a little bit of a stretch to me.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch.
The others, I will say, absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't know what the evidence is for conspiracy to commit acts of terror.
That feels like the one that they threw in just to like really make sure people took them seriously.
Yeah,
because the others are big. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I will say the customs one is like. That's like duh. Like, yeah, he does. That's his literal job. Like, let him just do his job.
He also after they read him those, he assaults a federal officer.
What is that? Yeah,
he grabs the dude's finger and like almost breaks his finger and punches him.
Oh yeah.
So now we got 6 pretty good crimes. What's your favorite one that Santa Claus might have permitted or done?
I mean, just because for some reason now I'm tethered to it, larceny.
Okay.
I think larceny is definitely my favorite. That's my favorite crime.
So yes, eventually the law does catch up with Santa. He is arrested. He is held at a black site. These DHS agents love threatening people, especially small children, with sending them to off-the-books illegal black sites.
Yeah, they were straight up grabbing kids.
They grab these 8-year-old children
kids.
And are like, I will send you somewhere no one will ever be able to find you.
Yeah.
He's straight up like, I will send you to Guantanamo Bay, you 8-year-old child, if you don't tell me where Santa Claus is.
And Santa, like, by the way, we're like 3/4 of the way into this movie, and we've talked about only Santa's storyline through this movie. There's a lot of other outer stuff that I'm sure we'll talk about in the recap if it comes up.
Purposes. Yeah, we've got the usual emotional stuff. I think in terms of the bigger canon, though.
Yeah.
I also don't want to, we're going into detail. We don't want to give you all the beats because I do want you to genuinely go watch this movie.
Yeah. So, some highlights from the outer parts of the movie before we get to the end.
Yeah.
My favorite highlight was the joy grenade that the elves threw at the SWAT team.
God, yeah.
That was a highlight. The elves were trying to recapture Santa.
Yes, eventually the elves do show up to rescue Santa. They are the retrieval unit, which apparently Santa gets lost enough times they have to have a whole designated group of highly trained elves to deal with it.
So there's that. So they throw a joy grenade. The SWAT team that's guarding Santa gets so happy, and then they dump stuffed animals at them, and then it's just a really funny moment where the SWAT team is like jumping over each other, being like, "That's mine! That's my teddy bear."
We can add another charge to Santa's growing list of illegal activities, which is use of chemical weapons.
Yeah, that is like a high tier chemical weapon.
It was scary. It was frankly a little scary.
Yeah,
because these are highly trained SWAT officers who immediately act like 7-year-olds. I don't want to know what is in that joy grenade.
Yeah. Another highlight is the person who piloted the fighter jet, who shot the missile at Santa's sleigh, is also searching for Santa, not out of like revenge, but out of he wanted to apologize.
Out of guilt.
Yeah, he just wanted to apologize to him.
This guy shows up. So they as you said, they rescue Santa, and this guy who shot him out of the sky goes up to Santa. He's like, the elves are like, oh, this is this guy, and Santa's like, oh, thank you so much. And one of the elves is like, he shot you out of the sky, and Santa's like, oh. And this guy says, I quote word for word, I'm gonna get this tattooed on my body. This guy shakes Santa's hands and says, sir, I deeply regret downing you with an advanced medium-range air-to-air missile. And Santa's like, no big deal.
An iconic quote.
Amazing that that's in a Hallmark movie. That the phrase advanced medium-range air-to-air missile is in a Hallmark movie and makes perfect sense.
And it's good. Like, it's good.
It's a
fun.
Solid
it's silly.
delivery.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And the final thing, and I think this thing is most important to the implications of this universe that we're creating.
Mm-hmm.
There is a scene where Santa, Sophia, and Daniel are making toys at Santa's speed.
Oh, yeah. He can share his power. Yeah.
So we're going to have to be thinking about that.
So yes, eventually they rescue Santa from the federal government. They give him back the rest of his magic bells that he has lost, which let him call the reindeer. He doesn't call Donner and Blitzen, but 9 reindeer still show up. It was weird.
Yeah, it felt like he forgot two of them.
He noticeably doesn't call them. He's like Prancer, Dancer, Comet, Cupid, and Rudolph.
Yeah, it was really
there's
weird.
a slight pause. I swear the dude forgot it.
Yeah.
So yes, Santa transforms into his beautiful, fully clothed in that red. He's got some sparkle in his robe. He's got some bedazzling going on in his robe. Very nice. He says, I hope it wasn't a big deal. The mother, Daniel and Sophia's mother, is like, it was no trouble. I made the quick note that it was no trouble except for when the Department of Homeland Security threatened to throw you and your children into a legal off-the-books black site for harboring a known fugitive and potential terrorist. And then Santa, again, showing that these universes are connected, he's got that magic bag that gives you exactly what you need. Gives Sophia a present to give to her mother.
Yep.
Sophia gives it to her mother, and she said, Santa said this was for you. It's not a cyanide capsule. It is a lovely piece of mistletoe that she takes out, holds over her and the sheriff's head, and the sheriff is like, ha. And then we have the worst mistletoe kiss we've seen so far, which is she has her eyes fully open when she kisses this man. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, so because this movie wasn't about them.
No. This movie,
so
and that's
I don't
why we
know
haven't
why
addressed
it
their
ended
love
with
story.
Them.
Yeah, this movie was about Santa versus the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Yeah, that was wild. I'm glad we got another incident of mistletoe, though, so that's good. One big connection that I think we can draw, and it's a broader kind of sweeping connection, is that we now have a full-on X versus Y in the Santa Incorporated versus the Department of Homeland Security. It is possible that we can say there could be special ops in some of these towns that we've seen in the past, to set up the Department of Homeland Security coming to fruition in the Santa incident. If I want to make a guess, okay, I think the first instance of a Department of Homeland Security special operative is the security guard in the Santa suit at the end of the movie. When the guy chased, what's his face? The guy chased Santa down the street and then locked him in the cage.
Oh.
I think both of those guys were special ops.
That was a plant. That was a DHS plant.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I think that's our first incident of the Department of Homeland Security coming into play, but we didn't really have a name to put it at that point.
I think I don't have any evidence for this, so we can cut this if we don't like it.
Sure.
This is a personal vendetta, absolutely, but this guy is a part of a formally organized part of the Department of Homeland Security, the Asymmetric Threat Division. What's another character we know who has some military experience and also maybe has some reason to not like the holiday season? It's Jess Sanford from November Christmas.
Can you compound on that?
I cannot. There is no evidence for this. I think we're maybe seeing in November Christmas the story of how this man learns to forgive Santa. But before he learned to forgive him, he founded the Asymmetric Threat Division in the Department of Homeland Security. On the surface, it was to hunt aliens, whatever. The true purpose that he only told to his most accomplished soldier, Agent Erickson, was to hunt down and find Santa Claus.
I think you did it.
We have no evidence.
No evidence.
But I like it. And it fits.
It does. And I feel like my body isn't rejecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So
the army, the former army, possibly Army Ranger, so he's got that special ops training, who retired and then loses his son in the holiday season, blames Santa Claus for it, and then returns to active duty to found this group dedicated to taking down Santa Claus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It feels right in my bones when I say it.
Yeah, that feels right. And I think we'll do more research on it.
We'll dig in. We'll see if we can find anything else before the wrap up.
Any evidence.
But that feels really good to me.
That does feel good. I feel good about what we've done here today.
Absolutely. I think we have unpacked this thoroughly. Let's repack it real quick before your parents come down, see that you've unwrapped your presents. Got to put that back under the tree real quick. Put it back under the tree.
Put that in your stocking.
Tuck it deep in the stocking and take the magazine out. Put the magazine on top so they don't know. Tuck it back in there. Great.
Because if the magazine's on top, you obviously couldn't have put it back there.
Yeah, no, there's no way you could have done it. So what are we talking about next week?
Next week, our two movies are An Old-Fashioned Christmas and Three Wise Women.
Yeah.
Which I am looking forward to.
I am too.
So that is our next episode. We'll be unpacking those two. And at that point, after that, we only have 2 more movies left.
2 more movies. And we'll be in the Christmas week then.
Yeah, that's Christmas week.
That'll be the Monday of Christmas week.
Yeah, and next week is Christmas Eve. So we'll be releasing one on Christmas Eve and one on Christmas right back to back.
Yep.
And because it's Christmas, I don't know, my work ethic just pumps through the roof.
Because it's usually a time for family. Obviously, this year, spending time with family is a little trickier for some folks and impossible for other folks. There's no better time to crack open a cold one, alcoholic or non, doesn't matter. No judgment here. There's no judgment at the Mistletoe Secret.
In Christmas.
Oh, God, absolutely. It's a beautiful time. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you don't have to. This isn't the Christmas secret. This is the Mistletoe Secret.
It's the Mistletoe Secret.
And your denomination or your religion or lack thereof does not exclude you from joining the ranks of the noble Mistletoe Detective Agency and really cracking these guys open.
I will say we did get our first mistletoe smooch this week.
We did.
And it wasn't how I was expecting, and I'm unhappy that this was the first one.
We might have also possibly seen the first appearance of the actual Mistletoe Secret, which is why does Santa say mistletoe?
Right.
Why is that the first word he says?
Yeah.
Is that maybe his Shazam, his magic word? Maybe that's the Mistletoe Secret. You got to keep our eyes peeled.
All right. Well, this has been the Mistletoe Secret. Stay jingling and stay jolly.
Oh, you got close. I like that. You got that quasi ASMR thing going on there.
Yeah.
We'll do a full ASMR episode one time.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
I would love it. Are you kidding me?